Alright, this is take number 3 on this one. I just shot this video, was sitting, looking at it, listening to it, and I was driving myself crazy. I said the same things 4 and 5 times. I have a bad habit of that. I'm trying to correct that. So I'm going to redo this and condense this down to about half of what that other one was. I'm going to do this little talk and comparison of a couple of 38 Special snub-nose revolvers. One being a Smith & Wesson 649, 5-shot, all stainless steel. The other being a Ruger LCRx 5-shot. This one is a combination of polymers and steel. The weights on these two, they are fully loaded in the holsters that I carry them in, and I'm just going to let you see. Just take a look at the scale right there. See for yourself the weight difference. Okay, right there, fully loaded in the holster, 28.1 ounces on the all stainless steel Smith & Wesson 649. Ruger LCRx, 18.8. Okay, so you have 10 ounces, 18.8, 28 even. Boy, darn near 18 ounces difference. I'm sorry, 10 ounces difference between the two. One thing that you need to think about, if you're a new up and coming, going to get into shooting, concealed carry, whatever, and you like the idea of a revolver, a small revolver, concealed carry revolver, and you have two things that you need to figure out. You need to figure out if you dislike a heavier gun and like less felt recoil, or if you'd like to have a lighter gun and have a little more felt recoil because the gun is lighter. If a gun is lighter, the recoil is going to be a little more than a heavier gun. Now, if it's me and it's my choice, I would much rather carry a lighter gun and worry about the recoil in the event that I have to use it in a self-defense situation. If I have to use this, I'm not going to feel or be worried about the recoil anyway. Okay, but 99.999% of the time, you're never going to have to pull your weapon and use it, hopefully. So you're carrying around, if you choose to go heavier because you don't like the recoil, a 10-ounce heavier firearm that does the same job as this one. They both have the same length barrel, the whole 9 yards. It's a decision that you have to make. I personally will choose the lighter one because it's more comfortable to carry around on my waist all day long. I have carried both of these. I've carried this one more, but after having this thing on, I mean, it's literally, I don't feel it after a very, very short period of time. Really don't. With a good belt, you're gonna forget that you have it on. So, I mean, the weight of this is starting to get up there to the weight of a, shoot, I don't know, a Glock 26, a Glock 27. You know, you're approaching 30 ounces with this thing. And this here, under 20 ounces. So it's a decision you have to make. That's a decision you have to make. I want to point out something too. I'm going to unload. I want to show you something. If you're new to doing, firearms, and let's say you're out looking at used revolvers, okay? One thing that you need to be aware of is revolvers that were made years ago, as late as 1990 even, maybe even 95, I don't know. This one here was made in 89. And this one happens to have the firing pin right on the hammer. Okay, that right there is actually the firing pin. That firing pin, when you pull the trigger, comes up and goes through that hole right there. Okay, comes through, hits the primer on the round, sends the round down the barrel. Conceivably, it has happened. If you are carrying 5 rounds in here and this hammer is sitting down on a loaded chamber in your cylinder, and this gun was to take a fall and it hit the ground, boom, hits that hammer. If it hit it with enough force, it could force that hammer in and it could discharge a round. okay? That's not good. Now, on a shrouded, this one is shrouded, revolver, you know, the hammer is somewhat protected, but it's not totally protected, okay? I mean, if something's going to happen to me, if something can happen, it's going to happen to me. That thing would take a fall and hit a rock, hit the edge of a sidewalk, a curb, just right, and it would give it enough force to be able to set that thing off. You just want to be aware of that. They teach, they train that if you have a revolver that has that type of a firing pin set up on it to carry 4 rounds and have the hammer sitting on an empty chamber. Okay? Something to be aware of. All your new firearms are going to be like the LCRx is. Okay, this one here, you can see, does not have that on it. This has got a transfer bar. Okay, there's a piece of metal in here that protects the firing pin from striking a round unless the trigger is pulled. So if this is like this, and this trigger is not pulled, the act of pulling this trigger pulls that piece of metal down out of the way, so when the hammer falls, it can actually force the firing pin to set off a round. If this just falls and hits the ground like this, boom, boom, that piece of metal is going to keep the hammer from being able to hit the firing pin in turn to discharge a round. So it's absolutely no problem at all to carry this full up 5 rounds, because if it drops, you don't have to worry about this discharging a round on you. So, you know, that's just something to be aware of. I know there's a lot of people that are getting into firearms now, a lot of new people ever since the craziness of the last couple of years, and you know, it's something that people need to be aware of. There's a guy that I know that here a couple of weeks ago was telling a story. We wasn't even talking about guns. He was telling a story of a friend or something that went to get a revolver out of his truck. Now this guy was not a very big guy, not very tall, and he had one of these really jacked up high trucks. He reached up in the truck to get the revolver out. As he's pulling it out, the revolver falls out of his hand, falls down, hits the ground, and the gun goes off. Okay, that round actually hit him in the behind. So he shot himself in his rear end because he was carrying it full up. I don't know what kind of revolver it was. It really doesn't matter. But it can happen. Is it something that's going to happen routinely? No. But the possibility is there. So that's just something to be aware of. So if you're looking at doing this in a carry, be aware that there are lighter options out there. Not just the LCRs, but there are other lightweight revolvers. You don't have to carry a 28-ounce stainless steel. Stainless steel, I mean, I love it. You know, this gun, in my opinion, would outlast this gun if you just started putting rounds through them, just continually just shooting them. I would think that this one here would hold up better than this, it being all steel. But we're not worried about that. We're worried about a few shots, you know, to protect ourselves, our family, or somebody else in a bad situation. That's pretty much it. I cut this video down by about 7 minutes. So just stuff to keep in mind. The LCRx, the Smith & Wesson all stainless, really, really good revolvers. Just be smart and kind of look at what you're looking at. Thanks for watching. Y'all take care. We'll see you.